After leading Duke to back-to-back bowl games, the 2022 ACC Coach of the Year, Mike Elko, traded in blue for maroon when he was introduced as Texas A&M's newest head coach. This is not the first time he's been a part of the Aggies coaching staff. From 2018 to 2021, Elko served as the defensive coordinator and safeties coach in Aggieland. We've got a lot of buzz around SEC Media Day for our next guest, Coach Mike Elko. This is your second time at College Station, first as a defensive coordinator for 4 years, and now as head coach. How does it feel to be back?
Yeah, it feels great. Obviously, really enjoyed my time there as a defensive coordinator. Texas A&M is a really special place, and so getting the opportunity to get back here and now be the head football coach, obviously a really special time for me.
Now, there were high expectations with the previous regime in College Station. How will you measure success in your first season there as head coach?
Yeah, I think, listen, everybody knows what Texas A&M is capable of. And I think from day one, we've talked about rolling up our sleeves and trying to become the best version of ourselves to actually become the program that everyone talks about what we're achieving and not what we should be achieving. And I think that's been the mindset throughout the offseason. I think we've really embraced that. And I think our challenge now is to continue that into the fall. And, you know, regardless of the results, we know there's going to be huge emotional swings every game that we play. And so, you know, just making sure that we stay focused on getting better every day, making sure that we continue to move this program forward so that ultimately we get where we want to go.
When I know you kind of kept tabs from a distance. I mean, you had plenty going on in Durham, yeah. So I know that. But when you got back and you evaluated your roster, was it where you thought it was? Did you have to maybe fortify a couple spots? When you came back and you kind of inherited what you inherited, were you kind of where you expected it to be?
Yeah, you know, it's interesting. You know, we probably were a little bit vacant in some areas. Yeah. You know, some areas we were strong. I think when we looked at the roster, it was weird because I had recruited a lot of kids, right, but I hadn't coached a lot of them. Yeah. And so, you know, there were all these names that we had seen as high school kids, and it was like, okay, well, let's see what they've become. And so, yeah, I think we were really successful in the portal. I think we had to be a little bit more active than maybe you would necessarily want to be, but I think we were able to kind of fill the holes in the roster in a really good way. And so I'm excited for the group that we have and looking forward to this fall.
Yeah, it's like, hang on, I remember that name, but he was 230 now. Yeah. Now he's 270. Yeah. What happened?
There's no doubt.
College.
Right. And it's like, you know, like I spent so much time working on getting you here. Yeah. It's cool to get back here and now actually get to coach
and you're
you.
a good player. Yeah. I knew you would be. That's great.
Doubt.
But another guy that is a great player, I mean, keeping him healthy is huge, but Connor Wigman now, going into the year as a starter, I love your offensive coordinator hire. I think Honklein's a stud. I love the guy. Anyone that played the position just understands how to protect that guy. So when you were thinking about your OC hire, knowing what you had at quarterback, how did those two factors kind of weigh in?
Yeah, I think obviously being a defensive guy, you know, what we do on the offensive staff is really important. Quarterback production is critical, right? You can't play good offense without good quarterback play, and so I've always wanted to have an OC who did the quarterbacks. I thought that was always really important, and to understand that position, to be able to go out and get Colin, who I think is one of the elite offensive coordinators in the country, but also a guy who played the position at an elite level. You get instant credibility and instant respect for who he is and what he does, and so you know, it's not lost on anybody. The last 3 years, we have not kept our quarterback healthy. And you can look over the history of football and not see a lot of successful seasons where that's a statement that's made. Our starting quarterback got hurt. And so we've got to find ways to make sure that we're not only able to maximize what Connor can do, but we can do it for all 12 games.
Now, Coach, this year will also mark the return of the Texas A&M rivalry for the first time in over a decade. How excited are you that this rivalry is back on the schedule?
Yeah, I mean, really excited. I think you grow up in this state, and it's the game people talk about. It's the two big brands in the state. Nobody can argue that. You know, everyone's got an opinion on which one is one and which one is two, but, you know, nobody has any opinion about who are the top two. And so, you know, they should play each other. They should play each other every year. They should play each other on Thanksgiving weekend, and it should mean an awful lot. And, you know, now both of us being in the SEC, I think it will.
It's amazing to me. As a Texan, that game being back means a lot to me, but that's week 12. Like we got a lot between now and then.
Yeah.
The schedule's got as a coach that's a competitor, people are like, oh, the schedules are so hard. Isn't that what you're signed up for? Like, why are people making such a big deal out of the schedule being challenging for everyone in the entire conference?
No, the reason why we come to the SEC is because we want to compete against the best. And I don't know that you can shake up our conference and come up with an easy schedule, you know, and even the games that you hear people talk about as being easy games, as coaches, you're like, there's no way. Like, there's nothing easy about that game. And so, you know, it's why you want to coach in this league. It's why kids want to play in this league. It's the elite league in college football, and there's no question about it.
Yeah, we are all hearing the gauntlets, the word of the week, as far as schedules and everything going on here. Now, speaking of schedules, take a look there. You opened the season against Notre Dame and your former QB at Duke, Riley Leonard. What will it be like going against someone you had formerly coached?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the ironies of this world we live in now, right? I have so much respect for that kid and everything he did for our program at Duke, and he's a phenomenal leader. And I was actually joking with him. We were on the phone about 3 weeks ago, joking that we should come up with some scripted answer that we both give for the amount of times this question's going to get asked this offseason. But you know, he's extremely competitive. No, he's extremely competitive, and you know, we're going to get one shot at this, and there's not going to be a rematch, and so someone's going to be 1-0 and someone's going to be 0-1, and so I think we're both going to do everything we can to make sure we're on the right end of that for sure.
Be shooting for those bragging rights. And you know, week 1, Notre Dame at Texas A&M, and College Game Day will be there as well. We're all super excited for that. Thank you, Coach, for joining us.
No, thank you guys for having me on.